Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wednesday, the 29th of October. It is FOMC day, guys. So be careful out there. That's the first thing I've got to say. Obviously, if you have some setups drawn out, don't be afraid to take them, like I do. But yeah, I'd be a little bit cautious today in taking new positions, especially on higher leverage. And yes, in general, we have seen a bit of a rise in the longs just coming in after that dump. It's to be expected. We're back up to about 61% long in the market. Um, Coin Glass Legend, we have had, let me just take the footprint off so it's a bit easier to see. We had a few orders come in and try to hold the price around 111k. 111k also is the volume node for this area. It's actually about 111. It's actually about 111.5 all the way down to 110.5, and then the next one kind of comes in at about 108, where the big support is down there, which we don't want to get. So I don't want to see us get below 110.5. A hold of 111.5 would be amazing here as well, but this is still support until proven otherwise. So nothing too crazy to say about that there. In terms of liquidations, we're building some stuff to both sides on the low time frame. We've got some stuff all the way down from pretty much 112 all the way down to 110, and then to the upside we've got some stuff at like 116.5 all the way up to basically 118, where there is a little bit of a dead zone at 118 around that area. But yeah, nothing too crazy, and I feel like the market's kind of just in waiting mode today. Now, because it is FOMC and they're predicted to cut rates, this liquidation below me does kind of interest me a little bit, sort of like sitting about like 110.5. There's a big liquidation hot pocket there. That would also still be the volume area down here. It would kind of be like the lower bit, 110.5, and then what we do a regain of like 111 to this little area here would be quite interesting. But yeah, in general, I'm not really trying to predict what's going to happen in FOMC. It's just a potential volatility event in my mind, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting to watch, and then yeah, I believe we must have some options expiry in the next 2 days as well, and then the monthly close on Friday as well. So it's going to be a big week. Going to be an exciting one. So let me change the old charts because that's what everyone wants to see, right? Small scalps, nothing else. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes those small scalps, they can lead into like bigger positions. When you're taking like a 5 minute scalp, stop below the low. I mean, the stop's like 0.5%, and you can catch it. Take TP 2-3% up, and then it can turn into like a decent position. But yeah, it's a little scalping time. So Bitcoin, we've come up and hit this resistance. This was actually the August level that we're talking about. If we gain this, it would be like heavy upside trend all the way up to basically like 121. We currently haven't gained that right now. We've done some local breakdowns here. So this was the high. Did a little local breakdown, actually wicked all the way up in a lit grab, and have since seen a little bit of a local breakdown, especially like on the hourly. So yeah, nothing too crazy, and we want to see sort of like this area held. But as we know, there is some liquidations just below as well. So on MDX indicator, we got some at like 110.6 to 111.1. Quite similar to that on the CoinAnk chart as well. So there's actually liquidations all the way down into like low 110 into this area as well. So definitely could be eating some of those before we go up. But in general, I'm still quite bullish on the structure, even though this is now heavy resistance for us. So we need to gain this back, basically Q4 / the weekly open. I'm going to go a lot higher. But until then, you're potentially looking at, this area maybe might not hold. You're looking at this area, which has already been retested as well. And then I don't really want to get back down into the lows, but there is some stuff that we can do there. I would like to bullishly hold like 111k, which would be nice. But we'll have to see how it goes. It's probably going to that's probably just going to do this for a little, And what I'm expecting today? I'm expecting probably something like this. Just like one big like Darth Maul candle. where like the body will be like this and then the wick will be like that. So yeah, be careful today. Apart from that, yeah, nothing really else to say on the old bitty bad boy. ETH, still I think ETH looks quite good. Let me just take this stuff off. We actually came down and hit that perfectly, but I'm a little bit worried about these liquidations stacking below. Now, we could definitely take this sort of stuff, especially in FOMC. There's actually a big kind of like pocket here. There is a bit of a dead zone at like 3890, kind of like in between those two pockets, but because it is a FOMC day, you know, we might just like do that and then regain. So be a little bit careful. However, I am starting to build a little bit of an ETH long here, at about like 3950, 3920, sort of like in this area, and I'm gonna just ladder in on like 2x, like very slowly, and then obviously the invalidation is gonna be like, you know, like my stop's gonna be somewhere like around here in this like dead zone, so like 380, like above 3.8, pretty much. So yeah, I'm hoping for a little sweep and then a little bounce back up to take this stuff at 4.1, and then we might just like range a little bit. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm not really going to be trading too much today. Like these orders that I have set on ETH were set a while ago, so already a couple of them have been hit. I think I set them on Monday, so probably up here, or Tuesday once we did the local breakdown. And so yeah, a couple of them have already been hit on this wick, and you know, if we go a little bit further into that, I'll probably get hit on my full position. And might look something like a little inverse, like, you know, first shoulder, big dump on FOMC, take all the liquidity, come up to here, do the last one, and then go for the highs. Yeah, I think that's looking good, because if we slightly zoom out on ETH, just because I'm not really done with it, we do have a lot of like bullish divergence coming in on the daily time frame. So bullish diverged here, we hidden bullish diverged here, and then we bullish diverged again on this last one. So all three of these lows have been bullishly diverged now, and we have like a little local break of structure here, which is actually retesting at the moment. So if I just take off or auto charting tools, this is definitely the SR flip. This is what we want to hold right now. Obviously the lows untested at 3.8, we could actually tag that and then come back down, but overall in this structure, like until we like lose, you know, like this, I'm just tentatively looking towards the upside. And this is also support as well, this area on the 4. So I'm definitely more interested in ETH now than I am in Bitcoin. I mean, like Bitcoin is great and all, it's fine. I do think it's probably going to hit 121 at some point. But I'm slightly more interested in ETH just because of the way it's posturing and all that bullish divergence as well. So yeah, it's also kind of like coiling up a little bit better. So yeah, actually Solana's looking pretty decent as well. We actually held this low, kind of like touched it quite nicely. Held the daily open as well, also quite nice. Now I do have this box on. I do have this area boxed off. I believe it's the liquidation zone. Yeah, there's quite a lot of liquidation in that area. Let's just make it a little bit smaller. Just make it as small as possible so I can take that off. And yeah, so I'm trying out a little new strategy, which is just combining the liquidations and the combination man. And where they line up usually can be an error of reversal. Let's actually, before I go on to that, see how the AVAX trade did. So I tried this out on AVAX actually yesterday. If I take those off, that will be the liquidations. So it's actually we actually had a similar thing going on up here, where the liquidations and the combination band line up, it can be an area of reversal, just because obviously when we take liquidations we can reverse the other way, and the combination band is also a good tool for finding reversal areas. So yeah, that seems to have worked out quite well. And am I up on that? 3% already, not too bad. So if I go back to Sol, we do have quite a similar thing going on here, where if we take this high leverage stuff here and we don't make a new high, we could potentially come back down, make a new low, and actually clean all this out here, which would actually be the proper bounce, and then see what happens. So I'm also aware for that, and but right now it looks good. I think Sol looks quite good. We're obviously holding the low, and we're actually in this tight little range. So if we don't come up and like gain September and gain a new high, I think it's quite likely that we do go for that like yearly open and that box potentially. But I still think this looks good. We're actually holding the structure here quite well, and yeah, if anyone got caught on the long on this wick, then you're quite near to a first TP, probably at weekly open. So what's that? That's about 4%. Yeah, not too bad. Not the worst. Not the best. But yeah, again, kind of going a little bit sideways, a little bit up. I think they're just trying to bore you out of your positions in this area. But in general, still looks quite good for a little bit more up. What else? Yeah, hype just looking really good in general. Nothing really too much to say about that. I don't really know why I have that box on there. That's not... I was trying out something else, to be honest. But yeah, we have a lot of liquidations below 39, just below this low here. So there's a decent chunk there. There's actually some high leverage stuff at 42 as well. So in the local price action, we've actually holding the low, which is quite nice. Holding the low here. And if we close this 4-hour candle above there, we'll actually have closed out a new 4-hour candle high as well. So this looks quite good. I mean, hype, since we talked about it on Friday, has probably been the best looking coin. It tends to kind of lead the market, actually. Hype is what I found. It tends to lead the market quite nicely. And ever since we did this gain here, we actually just held the previous high very, very bullishly. So similar thing, doing the gain, actually probably going to hold somewhere in here, this SR. We've actually got the Q4 as well, so looking really good in terms of like actually trying to trade this. Yeah, it just looks fine. It just looks like potentially more upside. If you do get down to 41, it could be a potential area to long. Oops, why does that happen? Just around the August level and the Q3, this sort of like little area here. But apart from that, I mean, you're just up until proven otherwise on this. We are getting into a little bit of resistance here, which is about 5% and 7%. Pretty decent short volume. But again, we've gained the weekly open. We're potentially closing a 4-hour candle higher than here. And it looks good to potentially just have a little grind up. Wolfie. What is Wolfie? Isn't that Trump's shitty thing or company? I don't even know anything about that, to be honest. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's about it for kind of the update. We do have a few other things that we could look at. So the new strategy that I'm in the testing area. I'm in the testing phase right now of the strategy. Actually, kind of worked on Doge, but kind of, yeah. I mean, using this strategy, you could potentially like long sort of like these areas and then just target the high leverage for like 4% moves. It's more of a scalping strategy, to be honest, rather than a swing strategy. But it can definitely turn into a swing strategy, potentially. So I like this. We're trying to get some more structure on Doge. We actually had one on the top band here, where these liquidations were gathered, and actually to the next band it was about an 8% move, which is quite nice. So yeah, on Doge, if I just turn this stuff off, we actually have made a new local low from here, So if we do come back up and fail to make a new high, potentially you're going to be starting a new downtrend. These lows that we have just put in on everything, these 4-hour lows, so like if I go back to Sui, for example, to Sol, not Sui, these are now kind of like the lows that you don't want to lose. If you lose these, you're going to kind of be going into like a new sort of downtrend. Wait, what was I just on? I can't even remember. Was it Doge? Yeah, it was Doge. Yeah, so these are sort of like the lows that you don't want to hold now. And actually, this is tested its full low as well. So this is the low. This is the new high. This is potentially the higher low, although it's a local low. If we do come up and make a lower high, it's potentially the start of a new like trend down. Or we might actually make a new low or go for like the lows, to be honest. So looking a little bit rough, to be honest, on some of these. Like definitely not looking as good as Sol, because Sol held here and didn't close a new candle below this area. But yeah, I'll be expecting this to come up to about like 20 around here, 21, 201, not 20. So yeah, after printing this bullish divergence, I do think we're going to get a little bit of a bounce, but yeah, let's see what happens on FOMC day. I'm in a little bit of chill zone, to be honest, today. I don't want to take new positions, but anything that I already have set is obviously going to be still intact. Wolfi, we'll have a look at Wolfi then. They are not pushing to ban Trump and his sons from trading crypto about Fin time, if you ask me. Yeah, I also agree. I think that so they're introducing a bill to ban presidents from trading crypto. I mean, they shouldn't be trading stocks anyway. No one in parliament there should be a rule on that. So I also agree with that. If they're trying to ban him from being involved with crypto, I fully support it. I fully support that. So yeah, what's everyone else looking at? Hype probably still looks the best. So if you're in any longs from when we were looking at that last Friday, probably in this area, then you're absolutely chilling. Apart from that, you know, I've got some orders set on the new what's it called? The new strategy that I'm testing out. And apart from that, I'm just really not gonna touch today. Like if we get some sort of like FOMC meeting, like it wicks up and then it wicks all the way down into that, it'll be perfect. Because I am still more bullish than bearish. Sorry, I should stop saying bullish and bearish. I'm still a little bit more uppish, as I have been since, since we filled the wick on the big dump, pretty much since we did this whole thing here. Well, let me take off everything. Yeah, since we did that thing and then we did this like little higher high, I've been like, okay, this is where you kind of want to get long, especially for this pocket. I just do think we are going to test like 121 on Bitcoin at some point. So I'm still a little bit more uppish. Whatever shenanigans we do here is just chop zone for me, to be honest. I'm just not that worried about it. Like, if we look at like this on the 12-hour, we've actually closed a new 12-hour high on Bitcoin here. Just about. And so this is now the low. And I'm expecting anything here is potentially just noise until we like start breaking stuff. So yeah. I'm looking at a short on ZEC around 336. So someone actually asked me to look at ZEC yesterday. And I was saying there's a good argument for this to potentially nearly be over. Because we are getting into like the all-time high sort of resistance, and these weekly candles are starting to look quite exhausted. Now I've pulled the fib from March 24 to the July 24 low. So July 24 was its lowest price pretty much ever, which is where I pulled my fib from. And it kind of like lines up quite nicely with, if you go back to the daily, with like this structure down here, and then also this touch on the 5. So yeah, this could be actually nearly done, you know. I wouldn't bet against it just now, but yeah, you're looking at a short of Zek on the 386Y. I don't have a fib pulled, but I would say that, you know, you've seen some local breakdown. You probably don't want to gain where it's trying to gain now. So this area in here is what you don't want to gain. So potentially it could actually be good for a short, although I just don't want to bet against this yet. Although I feel like it might be towards the end. There's just no evidence on it on the chart yet. I would not say that this would make for a good short. I would just say that because of this weekly chart, you know, if you were buying spot anywhere like underneath 150, you should probably take some profit. I mean, even if you bought at 250, you should probably take a bit of profit anyway. But yeah, I just don't really want to bet against this. Like, it's been very, very strong, and it's still, you know, it's still in an uptrend. Like, even if it came down and touched those highs, so something like this, whoops, not text box. Say it does fail there, and you do get your little short. I'm still expecting this to be support, and it to like make a new high until it doesn't. But yes, gold's having a good day. We're having seen a little bit of a bounce back. What else is happening? We did talk about Doge. Yeah, Popcat actually saw a little bit more down than I wanted. I do believe I got stopped out of this trade. I had a few orders set in between like 5.6 and 5.2. Yeah, I believe I've just been stopped out on this just about like 4.99. Yeah. So I'm not in Popcat anymore. Apart from that, I am still in a bit of Doge just because it's not as volatile. But this is also making me a little bit sketched out. So maybe if we come up and take that, I'll probably have to de-risk this position. And apart from that, it's going to be a pretty interesting day, to say the least. So let's actually just go on Bybit and test that one out again. Yeah, nearly, not quite at all. Let's have a look at it on Link. I definitely need to do some more testing into sort of that new strategy. Hey, Argo blockchain stock ARB is being delisted from LSE in December. I'm setting an 83% loss on this stock and an SIPP and an ISA. The value is so low, I'm wondering if I should just hang on to it or just sell for a massive loss. Thoughts? Message was sent to investors today, so I'm wondering if I should jump it this morning. To be honest, brother, I have no idea what it is. I have no idea how much you've invested, how much you're down. It's really up to you. Do you either want to take the loss and try and use it as to write off tax? It depends. Or do you just want to, is it just worth just leaving it forever? Like, it's really up to you, brother. Mining stock. It says Argo blockchain. That's a weird one. Yeah, it really depends. Like, if you're gonna, from now until April, if you're gonna take a lot of profit on, say you've made a lot of profit on Bitcoin and anything, you're looking to sell out a lot of spot, you're probably gonna get hit with a decent capital gains bill if it's over 10 grand of profits. So I would say that if you're looking to take a lot of profit on your other investments this year, well, towards the end, between now and April, which probably a lot of people are looking to take some profit on spot or take loss, then you can sell it and use it to write off tax. But if not, I'll just leave it. Seems to be dead. There's no point. Yeah, I'll run it if there are any holders in here. Crypto mining or norm mining? Yeah, since blockchain. I think it looks like crypto mining. If it's crypto mining, you might just want to keep it. But then again, not financial advice. I don't know. Major restructuring that wiped out existing shareholders are going to need to avoid insolvency. More recently, the company announced plans. This guy's the AI master. No, I'm joking. It's the best way. More recently, the London Stock Exchange, which caused a further sharp decline in its stock price. They will retain its Nasdaq listing. These events are indicative of some sort of domination. Yeah. Yeah. I would say that, yeah. I would just reiterate, if you're looking to take some profit, like if you have made, say you've got like bought a bunch of ETH and Bitcoin, anywhere in between like 1 and 2k for ETH, even 2.5, and then, you know, like 40k Bitcoin, whatever. Wherever you bought that stuff on spot, you're probably looking to take some profit or sell out in the next few months. So, yeah, if you calculate your tax bill, you might want to sell it and use it to write some of that off. If it's a mining token with users outside, then hold. If they're mining at their project, yeah, I also agree with that. Like, if they're actually a decent company and they're mining on the blockchain, I would keep it. But to be honest, bro, like no blockchain companies are going to survive in the UK, and the reason for that is energy prices in the UK are probably some of the highest in the world. So if you're mining on the blockchain, what's the main thing you're consuming? It's energy. What's the main big price in the UK? Energy. So it's just a little bit like, I'm not really sure how they're doing that, you know, because it's not profitable to mine in the UK because energy costs are so high. The most expensive in the world. Yep. So yeah, let's go through a couple alts. Does anyone have any alts that they're looking at specifically? Ooh, this does look darn interesting on render though. So this is what I mean about the new strategy that I'm trying out. Okay, so you have no overlap here, high liquidations, combination band. You also have the quite similar thing to the downside, high combinations, high liquidations and combination band. Turn all that stuff off. Yeah, might be worth, you know what, that nearly got actually pinged on that wick. You know, this is going to be an interesting theory the more I test it out, is it just better to trade liquidations and combination bands than actual structure, you know? And I mean, structure is always going to do you well because you're obviously looking at this low as being support and you're probably going to get a bounce from this low, as are you looking at probably this high. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to try it out, test it out a little bit. Ada, Casper, let's do it, guys. I haven't looked at Ada in ages. I actually haven't looked at Ada in so long. Let's actually get a fresh Ada chart. So I believe this is fresh. So Ada still looks kind of okay on the weekly. You know, we have a new high here, and we do not yet have a lower low. So that's all fine. You actually are seeing some like local breakdown. You saw a local lower low on the weekly, but the low's still intact and the high is still there. So I'd say on the larger time frame, it looks not too bad. Obviously the wick down is a little bit. Daily time frame, lots of bullish divergence coming in. That's quite nice to see. We also had the switch on Wave Master all the way back, pretty much here. So yeah, not too bad. Daily time frame has lows around here, which were held, and we actually have a new local high on the daily. That's good. I like that. Let's go into the 4 hour now. First one, I'll switch these on. Okay, interesting. Very, very interesting. We do have the box here just below where we are. Very, very interesting. I like that a lot. Seen some local breakdowns from here. Very, very locally. Nothing too crazy. This is obviously the low that you don't really want to get below now. I'd say that this looks quite good. You're basically just looking to long this area, pretty much. I'd say you're looking to long that area, and then obviously if you break below, here, it's toasted. But until then, you know, even on the 4 hour, you have a slightly higher high. Yeah, you do have quite a lot of overlapping resistance now. This is definitely going to be heavy resistance. It's like weekly open. We got May, got June, overlapping resistance as well. That's obviously going to be resistance, but until then, this low is support, and I'd be trying to buy it. Not right now. Maybe you get something like this up to the Q2, and then a rejection, and then further down into here, and then I'll be looking to buy that low. Have a stop below here, and then potentially you'll get a ping all the way up to the range highs, where you can take a lot of profit. And then if it develops into something like the daily, which goes like that, then you're absolutely laughing. So yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Actually looks quite good. And like with everything you tell me to look at, I'm basically just going to say that, you know, this low is super important from last week, and in general I'm looking for, you know, the structure that we did just before the big dump. I'm looking for that stuff to be hit at some point. It doesn't have to be tomorrow, it doesn't have to be next week, can take a month, but at some point I do believe, you know, 80 cent will probably be tagged on ADA again at some point. So knowing that, I do believe that buying this low at approximately 625 would be a decent little trade. But what do I know, eh? What do I know? Actually get some nice bullish divergence coming in on the hourly time frame for a nice little scalp there, actually. Casper was the other one, right? Casper, the friendly ghost. Well, this is only spot on it, Mexi. Okay, cool. Ooh. God damn. Yeah, this is on support. This is definitely on support. Let's just put it like something like that for now. This is on support right now. Also, I mean, the auto charting support is there. I kind of just, you know what? I kind of don't really need those at all. I would say locally it's still down. I don't like this. I don't like these new lows on the daily time frame down here. Regainable if you regain this high. I don't think this looks that good. Even if you do regain that, you're potentially looking at this area to be a bearish retest until it's not. Heavy resistance up here, 8990. It's going to take a lot for us to get above here. But then again, the weekly time frame, you're on support. This is support. This is big support actually down there. I I just don't really like the new lows. You already closed out new lows on the weekly as well. So I would say that this is looking a little bit rough, to be honest. Because if you look at it like this, we actually had a new high here. So these were the lows that you don't want to break. We actually had a new high and a higher low. So it was kind of like squeezing. It was kind of like squeezing. But then we just did a lower high. And then now we've like failed. So I'm not really that interested in it. Doesn't look that good. On the tradable side, well, slightly lower time frames, you are kind of gaining lower time frame levels. So you do have like a nice little flip of this. We just turn off all our tools so it's easier to see. Do you have a nice flip of this low, which was also resistance here, and now we're potentially turning this into support. So you could see a little stab up to like 6.5 if you're trading this locally. Apart from that, just looks a little bit neither here nor there for me. To be honest, bit rough, a little bit rough on that. So we're chatting shit about UK being the highest, still fucking expensive. Yeah, I don't think it's the highest in the world, but it's definitely the highest in Europe. Is it not? Switzerland and Denmark are apparently higher. And Ireland. And Italy. Wait, what? I don't believe that's... No. So that's... I think that's generation cost. So we have lower generation cost because we have quite a lot of renewable energies. But the actual cost is higher because it's still linked to like the gas prices. We have also a lot of tax and we have to import a lot. So I'm not sure if, I don't know. France is 11, 12-ish. Yeah, so France have a lot of nuclear. That's why they're quite cheap. I see Norway's versus UK. Southern Norway, 200 approximate monthly cost. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. After the Finn cables, they added to send power to the EU. Is that Norway? So you're selling so your cost might be higher because you're selling a lot of your energy, right? You're selling a lot of your oil and stuff as well in Norway. I believe that the actual cost when it's like, you know, when it says like kilowatt per hour, that's like the generation cost. We're generally quite low in that sense because we have quite a lot of our energy which is coming from like solar, wind, which is actually cheaper to produce than fossil fuels. But I think because of I think there's a lot of tax, and also we're getting shafted by our energy companies and stuff. That it's actually for consumers, it's actually a lot more. And we also have to peg the price to gas because that's the fail-safe one, and renewable is super unreliable and something. It's just weird. We're probably getting shafted by the energy companies. Yeah, greedy motherfuckers, bro. Exactly. UK is not viable. France, which is currently breaking even at the moment. Yeah, and even France have other problems, bro, rather than energy.